100 is holding short, 10 left, ready to go westbound.
196-100, Perry Tower, left downwind departure, runway 10 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, left downwind departure, 10 left, 100.
Morning Tower, 6323 Whiskey over the Gulfstream 1000, coming in with Whiskey, holds up.
6323 Whiskey, Perry
Haven't
Tower.
done one of these in a while.
Report over, actually, left downwind, runway 10 left, report 3 east of the field.
Alright, so Jason is doing the south field takeoff. 10 degrees of flaps, pull the yoke back, get the nose off the ground, then lower it just a little bit. As we're approaching rotation speed, the mains come off the ground. Stall warner is going to go off a little bit. Jason pushes nose forward. We pick up more airspeed, and away we go. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you think you did today? So Jason's actually a retired FAA examiner. So what you're getting today is through the eyes of not only AOPA's CFI of the year, multiple years, but also a retired DPE. So he actually has seen a lot. Today's lesson not only is going to be to show you guys what a rusty pilot or a non-proficient pilot, what kind of trouble they can get themselves into. A student pilot perhaps practicing power on stalls or slow flight by themselves after their solo. Or what a CFI might be experiencing, some of the rules of the road, I guess, some of the telltale signs, what might be going wrong before it happens, to allow your student to make a mistake without you guys killing yourself.
Okay, so when talking about spins, we all know that the spin occurs with a stall in an uncoordinated condition. Okay. Now there's two uncoordinated conditions. One, of course, is a slip. One is a skid. A slip is where you have essentially not enough rudder. A skid's when you have too much rudder. It causes you to skid around the turn, sort of like a car. So we need to understand that one is going to be a lot worse than the other. So I'm just going to pull the airplane back here, and I'm going to put us into a nice cross-controlled forward slip as we slow down and enter the stall. Okay, watch what happens here. It's actually anticlimactic. Okay, so here's our forward slip. We can see the ball is off, and there's our stall. And not really a whole lot is happening. Okay, it's actually pretty stable. I've got a lot of control over the aircraft, in spite of the fact that we're cross-controlled and in a stall. Okay, so we'll break the stall by lowering the nose.
And Jason, how many RPM were we at that point?
We were at idle at that point.
There we go.
Okay, so we're just going idle for both of these. All right, now I'm going to do one in a skid. Okay, so we'll bring that power back again to idle. And let's go into a left-hand turn. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to try to tighten that turn by stepping on the rudder. Okay, you can see right aileron in there.
Here's the
stall. Okay, and it's kind of hard to get the airplane to brake, but if I hold it, it'll go. Okay, here we go. See, there it is. There's the spin entry right there. So it eventually will go, but it does take a little bit of work, at least at idle.
And how many G's are we pulling, Jason, on the recovery?
And probably about 2 G's.
Yeah, it felt like it trying to hold the camera up for you guys.
Phone gets a little heavy. So we'll do a base to final here. All right, so we'll come back. All right, we're doing about 1,500 RPMs, 10 degrees of flaps. Recovery here is going to be a little bit different, that we have to raise those flaps. Let's get the airplane slow. And here we go. Okay, so we've got our turn set up. And I'm just going to lean on that left rudder. See the ball come out. And with a little bit more power, we're going to get more air over that rudder. So we're about 1.5 G's. And there's the buffet again. There it is. Okay, flaps up. And lower that nose to break the stall, and rudder to prevent the spin. And a nice 1.5 G pull out that time.
Now tell the viewers, why is it that you take the flaps out?
Well, there's a number of reasons. When you break that stall, the airplane will pick up speed very quickly. You'll come right out of the white arc. That's certainly one aspect. And of course, the other aspect is those flaps will blanket your tail surfaces. You'll have no rudder authority. You'll have no elevator authority. Obviously, that's a bad place to be.
So we know about PAR, power, aileron neutral, opposite rudder, brake to stall. Where does the flap, in what sequence does the flaps go? Are the flaps the first thing you do before you get to the P?
You know, that's a good question. Generally speaking, you're going to want to pull the power first, okay? And then a lot of the other things tend to be somewhat simultaneous.
Exactly.
So you're pulling that power out, you're stepping on the rudder. At some point in that flow, I mean, quite honestly, once you pull the power back, this air's not really doing anything, so you might as well put it on the flap lever.
And how many feet do we drop in that configuration?
You know what? I didn't look.
Well, let's do it again for the viewers.
We'll do it again for
because the viewers want to know. Basically, as you all know, base to final, let's assume that your traffic pattern for the purposes of this exercise is 1,000 feet. The likelihood that you will be between 600 to 800 feet on base is very likely. That base to turn to final, maybe even below 700 feet. So here we go, starting at 2,800. And there it is. Full recover, 1.2 Gs, and I will cut this off at
2550?
Yep, about 250 feet. And that's because Jason recognized that it was happening. Can you imagine if you had to wait a second and a half longer? It's unrecoverable.
Absolutely. You're base to final, you're approximately 400 AGL. I do these incipient spin maneuvers with all my private pilot students, and our goal is to be able to recover within 200 feet. Tends to be pretty exciting sometimes, but 200 feet I think gives you a little bit of margin of safety, and the real important part here is really recognizing when that airplane comes over. We've all done power on and power off stalls, especially on the power on. We have that wingtip drop. There's a difference between the incipient spin versus the wingtip drop. The wingtip dropping is much more benign, happens a little bit more slowly, and it gives you time to address it and recover it. If you don't fix it, of course, then you end up in the incipient spin.
So, Jason, why don't you tell our pilot family out there, left turn, right turn, everything you just did was to the left. Is it harder to spin it to the right? Do you really have to get yourself in the position that you should know better not to go to the right, or left and right just doesn't matter?
Quite honestly, it doesn't really matter. It matters when you have power applied. If you're under power, you're going to have torque, you're going to have P factor, you're going to have gyroscopic precession, all those forces basically all pulling you to the left. So if there's power, absolutely, the airplane naturally wants to go to the left. As a matter of fact, we'll demonstrate that next in a simulated power on stall. So, but with no power, aerodynamics, it really doesn't matter right or left. One of the maneuvers that people don't realize as part of the ACS is a stall, power on stall in a turn. If you look at the nomenclature in the book, it actually says that you have to maintain heading plus or minus, but it also says maintain bank angle plus or minus. So it's up to the examiner. So we're going to go and do a power on stall in a right-hand turn. Okay, so we'll apply a full power here. We'll go into about a 10-degree bank right turn. And if we look at the clouds, I'm not giving it enough rudder. Okay? You see how the clouds aren't moving? Yet we're banked.
Our
Okay.
DG's not moving. We're basically
Balls
flying
out.
crooked.
Okay, this is something that people do wrong all the time. They don't realize that it takes more right rudder than usual. So I pick that nose up a little bit more here to get that stall to happen. Okay.
There's the stall, and I'm starting to feel the buffet.
Yep, there it goes.
There we go.
And there it is.
Power out.
And I'm
Aileron
on that right
neutral,
rudder.
right
There
rudder.
we go. Okay.
And it's about a 2. It's about a 2G. So the feeling you get in a steep 60-degree bank turn is the feeling you get coming out of that spin.
Exactly. Now I'm going to make it a little bit more exciting here for Jay. I'm going to be the student. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the wrong rudder in a power on stall. Okay? And it's going to catch Jay by surprise. He's going to have to recover for me. Okay, so we're already configured. I just finished a clearing turn. Let's just slow the airplane down, maintaining altitude, and here we go.
All right, so I'm noticing that Jason is not using enough right rudder. I can tell looking out the window, we're yawing to the left. The ball is to the right. He still hasn't noticed it. I can feel on my feet. And there it goes. Whoa!
Okay, nice job. Excellent recovery. Okay, notice the reduction of power first. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera down on the floor, so you can't see Jay's right foot. But fairly rapid application of that right rudder will prevent that airplane from rotating. Gives you plenty of time to break the stall and keep things moving.
So one of the mistakes that I told you that some CFIs make, I specifically did not say my controls, because now you have a student and a CFI not talking to each other. You have to say my controls, because a student, you're going to know, as a CFI, you're going to know it's coming. Okay, you see that ball not coordinated, you see the clouds moving, you can feel on your feet that the rudder's not pushed in. So you're anticipating it.
You can feel it in the seat.
You can feel it in the seat too, yeah.
So
I had my hand close to the throttle, and now I'm going to show you the proper transfer. We've done our clearing turns. We have no traffic in the area. So we're coming down to rotation speed at 60, carb in, full power. Whoa! My controls. All right, so Jason basically acted like an idiot right there. By exaggerating, he just absolutely freaked out. Okay, he absolutely freaked out. You've had stories of, and actually seen students actually start screaming, right?
Hey, I have. Private pilot candidates have done that to me a handful of times.
On check rides.
You know,
yeah.
When I first started teaching, I had an old sage tell me that, it's not your students you need to worry about. It's the people that already have their pilot's license that you have to worry about.
So let's talk about that. The BFR, biannual flight review. You've had more spins during the BFR than you had on a private check ride, right?
I'd have to count. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the FAA is actually pretty smart about most of their regulations. You know, they have a series of maneuvers and skills that they want you to know and to learn. And it's on the test, and they know that you're not going to do that over the next 2 years. You know, you're going to kick the tires, put the family in the back of the airplane, fly places, have some fun. You're not going to go out and do stalls and a lot of those other maneuvers. So people tend to be pretty rusty when they come in for their biennial flight reviews.
Yeah. So what would be a good point? Good tip, I guess, for that brand new, newly minted CFI, who, let's be honest, may not have. They're still not comfortable actually doing power on stalls themselves, right?
Yeah. Tighten your seatbelt. Well, it's really a matter of being prepared, and a lot of it really does come down to experience, where you can see things unravel. The real hard part, and this is a comfort level issue. The real hard part in instructing is you have to be able to let the student make mistakes. Now, how far you let it go is really a comfort level type of a situation. So, newly minted CFIs, I would recommend saying something. Okay, trying to get them to correct for it before that mistake actually happens. As you build up experience, though, you'll get more comfortable and you'll be able to let that student have a little bit more freedom. Yeah, here, I'll try another one here.
All right, so am I recovering or are you recovering?
Oh, I'll recover.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll slow us down. Okay, and we'll pick that nose up. Okay, we'll start applying some left rudder. And a little bit of right aileron. And there she goes. Yes, sirree.
Whoa.
See that? There's your
Whoa.
spin. And there's the brake. Okay. And,
Wow. Oh, that's more than a 2.
and right to the yellow arc.
Wow. Now that we dropped 800 feet.
Oh, about right. You get about 500 feet per spin. We did about 1.5.
Yep.
Turns on that one.
Yep.
It happens fast, ladies and gentlemen. It does happen fast.
On that one, you can actually feel that corkscrew. Before, everything else before that was basically the wings coming over incipient. But then you could actually feel the tail
Starting to develop,
which is a absolutely different sensation.
Yeah, and I'll try another one here.
All right, so am I recovering or are you recovering?
Oh, I'll recover. Okay. Okay, so we'll slow us down. Okay, and we'll pick that nose up. Okay, we'll start applying some left rudder. And a little bit of right aileron. And there she goes. Yes, sirree.
Whoa.
See that? There's your spin. And there's the brake. Okay.
Wow. Oh, that's more than a 2.
And right to the yellow arc.
Wow.
So that pretty much concludes our spin introduction today. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you love the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you in the skies.